Hi guys, it's Tasha C and welcome back to another episode of Talks with Tasha. So guys, I'm back again with another episode, bigger and better for you guys. So today I've got a very special guest, but before we get started, make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Also hit that post notification so you're notified every single time I post. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guest, Fabian. Woo! I like that. He was like, yeah, man. Right, Fabian. So give us a brief introduction about yourself. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Fabian. For the purpose of this video, I'm a gay Christian.
That sounds so funny.
I'm friends with Tasha. I do go to the same school. So yeah, I'm here.
Now, the obvious question
Right.
everybody's thinking.
Yeah?
What are some unique challenges you've had growing up as a gay Christian?
Many trials and tribulations, I will say. I am a Christian boy that went to Christian school, Catholic school for primary and secondary.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a journey to work through that and, have different sort of beliefs and, opinions on my, on who I am. So but overall, I think that it's a happy life that I've left with God and with Jesus. So yeah.
Yeah. So like, is there like an example of a situation that you've been through that it was like you can give us now? Like it was like, damn, like no, this is actually really hurting my feelings as a gay Christian.
Definitely in secondary school when I came out, because I came out at a very, very young age.
How was that?
It was an experience, I should say.
Because I've never even talked to you about that. Like
definitely going from being a young boy, 12 years old, coming out in a Catholic environment. All the boys and everyone, not only the boys, but also the girls, the teachers and everything were very there was a very much of a pushback against my sexuality. And there was a lot of questioning and, harassment and bullying.
Harassment?
Yes, and, just, like name calling and...
How did that make you feel, though, in a situation like that?
Definitely. At the time, when it first started happening, it really did get to me. It really did, dampen my mood and dampen my self-confidence and myself. And I really did doubt my self-worth for a very, very long time. But growing up through that and, facing those challenges, I think I've learned to be proud of who I am. That's for one. And embrace being gay, being a Christian. Yeah. And both of them can go hand in hand. They're not both exclusive to one another. Both can go hand in hand, and you can make that work. Yeah. Because the love of God is for everyone, not for one person. So
we're going to touch into that because obviously what you just said now is very controversial to a lot of Christians, but there's no need for us to come here and argue about that. That's not why we're here. We're here to understand each other and understand each other's points, right? So how do you relate to the traditional teachings regarding homosexuality in the Bible? Like in the Old Testament, it obviously states that...
Of course,
man should not be with man.
Man should not lay with man. I personally... Of course, this is a very controversial take, but I believe that that scripture and that testament of man shall not lay with man was mistranslated throughout history. Because there is research and there's factual research done behind it where the original scripture was man shall not lay with boy. And it was changed at some point in history when they were translating.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but at the end of the day, now, we're in the present time. Yes. This is the Bible that we've learned. Yeah. So, obviously, growing up in the church now, it would probably be hard for you because a lot of people are now saying this verse to you. And nobody's going to listen to a teenage boy just saying it's been mistranslated. They would just think that they're trying to form their ways to the types of the world. How do you take on that? Because you're saying this, but everybody else is...
It's a very tricky path to and a very difficult conversation to have with a lot of people. Yeah. Like you said, it's it's what a lot of people know.
Yeah.
And it's what a lot of people have been brought up with and
Yeah.
have learned with the Bible.
Yeah.
That, this scripture is what it is. But of course, these types of people I've learned are not open-minded to different parts of different people's lives and are very narrow-minded into a certain belief system and are not very open to learn about different things and different stuff.
So you saying that's all Christian?
No, not all Christians.
Oh, okay.
No. That's not all Christians.
No.
No, definitely not. I'm not generalizing Christianity because I'm a Christian too,
Yeah.
and of course. But there's groups of people. That's what I'm saying. Not all Christians. Groups that are.
I get what you're saying,
are.
yeah? So I'm going to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Not from I don't agree with this point of view,
Yeah.
but from what somebody else might be thinking who's
All
watching
right.
this, right? So in the Bible, it said that God created Adam and Eve.
Right.
Yeah? Man and woman.
Right.
Why do you think he didn't just create man and man to procreate and make kids then?
That's a good question.
I know.
It's a very good question.
I'll give you time to think about it because I was just wondering because obviously I was doing my research for this
Right.
podcast and I was thinking oh, that's true. Like I watched somebody else say this and I was like, that's actually true.
Right.
Like why didn't he? There must be a reason.
Right. I think I do believe that Adam and procreation is a gift that was given to us by God and that was given to us to, I think that's the purpose of life, to procreate, to rebuild the next generation and,
Yeah.
But I think also God not making man and man or woman and woman like the default or what would you say, like the norm, I guess, in creation for procreation is that it's not logistically possible.
Yeah.
For a man to
recreate
but that's why a lot
with a
of
man.
or a woman to procreate with
Yeah.
a woman. But I mean, it's how life is. I mean, actually, it's how life is. Like gay people. But I think we should still accept that gay people exist and that they are also God's children.
100%.
And that they don't have a sort of mental imbalance or
100%.
like it's a choice. I think it's how people are born, and I don't think it's something that God had not created. I think God created everyone, and everyone has a certain purpose in life.
Amen.
So I mean,
so what you're saying is you believe that God has created you to have this desire
for a different
for
purpose,
another,
not to recreate, but to have a different purpose and to bring something else.
So, has being gay caused you to distance from the church? Because obviously people have their beliefs and it might make you feel like an outsider at times, you don't belong there. What's your take on that?
At some point, definitely, especially as a teenager, as a young teenager, I definitely started distancing myself a bit from Christianity or from religion as a whole.
Oh damn! Why?
Because I just felt like I didn't have a place in these spaces in these religions.
What
because
caused that?
Of the teachings of the teachings that were taught and being pushed out about. Of course, Leviticus, the verse about man shall not lay with man, or about how gay people are ostracized and stuff like that. So I just personally felt that I didn't have a place to be. So in my mind, I was like, why should I follow
a teaching when there's no space?
That teaching that doesn't involve my people like me. It doesn't involve people that look like me or act like me or talk like me. So I distanced myself for a long, long time. But then
Really?
I've had a moment not recently, like 2-3 years ago, where I was like, this being away from God is a path.
Yeah.
But it's not the path I want to be on. So I was like, so I personally decided to rebuild a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And regrow a new relationship.
Yeah.
and focus on my, like you said earlier, like on my own personal relationship with God,
with Christ, yeah.
instead of a third party's beliefs of what my relationship with God should be.
Wow, that's powerful. You know what? I'm so proud of you for doing that because it's hard. It's really hard, especially when you have that distance from God. To come back to his presence is a whole nother thing.
Definitely.
And the fact that you've managed to come back to God after that distance, after that, you know, being pushed aside or feeling like an outsider, it's so powerful.
Definitely.
But like, how did you do that? Because once you've distanced yourself from Christ, what do you mean? Like, you stopped praying, you stopped going to church?
Well, when I just stopped believing in Christ and God.
Really? It was like a moment of atheism then?
It was a big moment of atheism.
Crazy. What led you back to God?
A lot of things, definitely.
Name one of them, like...
Just being around other Christians that were open-minded open-minded and very accepting of who I was and that accepted me in that space instead of trying to mold me into the ideal Christian.
That is powerful.
And accepted me as who I was, as Jesus would or as God would.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that did reopen my eyes.
I really spoke about this in my last podcast as well. Like, something that Christians do is we tend to push each other outside of the church without even knowing we're literally damaging each other, because by them being open to you and accepting of you, you've now managed to find your place back with Christ. But if they were just looking to you sideways, not, you know, accepting you, then you would have easily been drawn out of the church.
Definitely.
So I think it's so important, the fact that, you know, you've rebuilt those, you know, connections and those people. Is it like a church group? Is it a youth group? Like,
I think a lot of it was my family, my own family.
Yeah.
That were always very accepting of me being queer, me being gay. They've always been very open about it. I've always been very open about it and very, and I've never felt like an outsider in that environment of my family, because I do have an African family.
That's literally the next question.
But I'm very lucky and I'm very blessed and I'm very grateful that I didn't end up in a very homophobic family, because either side of my family is very, very accepting of who I am and are not trying to change me to fit a certain mold.
Yeah.
And I think that, and also my family being a Christian family that has Christian values in place, going to church, praying, you know, doing all like Christian things. I think that also pushed me back into it, because I saw another side of Christianity, where people can be accepting of who you are and not try to change you.
Yeah.
And accept you
just as you are. Like, first let me look
Jesus
at you.
would.
Exactly. Like, first let me look at you as a human.
Exactly.
Before I look into all of those imperfections. Now, you touched on family.
Exactly.
How was it breaking the news to your African parents?
It was a very...
I know these African parents. They have their ways.
It was like I said, it was very easy. It was a very easy conversation to have, especially with my mom. Really? Yes. Especially with my mom, it was a very easy conversation to have. It was quite emotional, of course, because it's like a huge thing. It's a huge topic. Yeah. It was very emotional when I told my mom, but it did take her a few days to like get with it. Yeah. But ever since then, she's been my biggest supporter. Really? Biggest supporter, and even my dad, who's a Ghanaian man. He's a Ghanaian man, but he's not like proper like African. Like, oh, okay. He's got like Europeanized. Europeanized. what's it called? No. So even though I didn't tell him at first, when I did tell him, it was a shock to me because I would have expected him to have a negative reaction to it.
Yeah.
But he was very, very accepting and very, 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 like, open about it.
Really?
And he wasn't. It's not like at any sort of point in the conversation I had with him about my sexuality or my queerness has he ever like tried to like say, oh, that's not right, that's not right. He ever since I first opened up about being gay to him, he's accepted me.
Wow.
With
And
no
how did
question
it feel
asked.
when you opened up to them, like letting them know?
It definitely felt like a weight off my shoulders.
It would feel
that
amazing.
was the thing. But it was very emotional, I'm not gonna lie, because it was something that I had, especially with my dad.
Yeah.
It was something that I had, like, I was so anxious about telling him.
The emotion.
I was anxious, so when I said it, it was like, whoa, you know?
Situations that you felt like, right, you're being homophobic and you've told them and they didn't like that and they reacted in like an aggressive way.
Definitely in high school, all the times
What
I would get called like words, you know, like batty man, batty boy.
Chill with that. Fire for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire
like
for
words like that, and
yeah.
and like the F slur and stuff like that.
What?
So in those moments, I would call it out.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, what? No, yeah, no, I don't really care. Like, I don't care. You're gay, so I should get to call you that. You're gay.
What?
You're gay. But you know, it's not. Oh yeah. So it's not really. It's as much as we want to pride ourselves as a generation of being an open-minded generation.
Yeah.
There are still lots that we have to break down in our ideologies as a society as a whole to rethink of like, especially to how we treat queer people. I think
I agree with that. Because obviously even me as a Christian, like I haven't been told a lot about like, you know, gay people and stuff. And it's like with gay people, it's like if you don't go out and actually like understand this side of things, you would never know. And now it's said as like a bad thing sometimes as well. So like you said, the generation is doing better, but it's not like they get like, why is somebody saying, oh, you're gay?
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh, like that's actually really like people actually have feelings.
That's what
and
I
obviously
mean.
people like you know, that's hurtful to say that out loud. Like, and if anything, that's not the way to go about it. Like, I'm a Christian. Obviously, I believe in the Bible, and in the Bible, it does say man should not lay with man, and I do believe in that. But it doesn't mean that I can't come here and sit and talk with you and still understand what you're saying now. Do you get what I mean? When people make it like, nah, that's a bio to be gay. How would you think of that? Like, how does that make you feel?
I've definitely had conversations with people in the past
where
they were like, oh, are you sure you're gay? Are you sure you're not just doing it for the attention? Da, 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 da. Are you sure? Like, have you tried?
They would say that.
But this is not something a lot of people are going to enjoy hearing. But why would I not know I'm gay if I haven't tried being with a girl? How do you know you're straight if you haven't tried being with a same gender person? Like it's a controversial take, but you have
people
to.
won't like that, you know.
But you have to think about it in that perspective. Because
wait, what you just said now is like, how would I know if I'm straight if I haven't tried being with a girl?
But how would you know? Wait, how would I know I'm gay? I'm not straight. If I'm how would you know you're not gay if you haven't been with a person of the same gender? Why should I have to have tried it to know, right?
Yeah. Have you not tried? Wait, were you not straight before you were? Because you said
no.
But you said it was 12 when you were 12. That's when.
But
was that when you came out?
That's when I came out. But I've always known that I wasn't really, really, really attracted to women. Like, I've always known.
Really?
I pretended to be straight. I've pretended, but I was not fooling anyone. I've pretended to be straight, but I've never had a girlfriend. I've never kissed a girl. I've never done anything with women or boys or anything. But
yeah.
but
yeah.
But yeah, no, I just know. It's like you know when you're walking down the street
Yeah.
and you see somebody and you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, oh like that person is like really attractive. I have never had that with a woman. I've never looked at a woman and been like, oh yeah, like she's fit. Like I can appreciate beauty. I can appreciate, oh, she's pretty.
Yeah.
But I would never like, in my head, I would never be like, oh yeah, like I definitely see myself being her boyfriend.
Really?
Or being in a committed relationship with her.
Really?
But when I think of me being in a committed relationship, I think of a husband or, you know, yeah.
Yeah, a spouse, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy because, like, a lot of the time, that's like, let's say I'm walking down the road now and I see, like, another female. I would never second doubt myself to think. But, like, I can appreciate, like what you said, I can appreciate when another girl looks nice, but I don't know when you know that balance between, oh, yeah, this is, you know, somebody that I would want to...
But like you've never seen yourself with another woman in your head, have you? Like you've never envisioned that in your head.
Yeah, no.
Like even when you try to think about it, it's like it doesn't. Yeah,
it doesn't.
It doesn't go that way, right?
Go,
so that means you're attracted to men, and so it's the same for me. I've never ever seen myself with a woman.
Wow. And that just like. Yeah, that just makes sense. It's not a thing where it's like some people though were like, oh yeah, I was straight, I did like girls, and they wake up another day and it's like, oh, I like men.
That's not how that works. Well, that's not how I think. I don't think anybody has ever woken up to being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be gay and I'm gonna face hatred. I'm gonna face bullying. I'm gonna face discrimination just because I want to choose a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
I think this is how people are born.
Yeah.
That it's not a lifestyle that you pick or a choice that you make along the way.
That was a huge question
I don't think it is.
A choice, or is it something?
It's not a choice. I haven't. Why would somebody in?
Because people do it.
I don't know. I don't think so. I do not believe people decide one day and be like, I'm going to be gay today. I'm going to be straight today. I don't think it works like that.
But then how do people like decide they want to be bi?
That's just how they are. That's how people are born.
No, but they grow up and then they decide, oh yeah, I want to be a stud now because I think it's cool or whatever.
Yeah, but being a stud is not a sexuality. That's a style. That's how they want to perceive themselves.
True. But like being bi, liking both genders.
That's what they're attracted to. What can you
exactly.
do?
But
it's not a choice. It's not a choice. I do not believe in my wholeheartedly.
Really?
I do not believe that anyone is ever going to wake up and say, oh yeah, today.
I feel like it's happened before though.
Today I'm going to wake up and like men and women, or I'm going to wake up and like the same gender. I don't think that has ever happened. I do not believe so.
You don't think it's happened?
I think people that say this are ashamed to admit that they've been gay for a majority of their lives, but they haven't had the awakening and they haven't had the courage to say anything, because nobody is going to wake up one day and decide discrimination.
True.
Nobody is going to do that.
True. I hear it to an extent.
What extent?
Like, it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like we're not going to start arguing today.
No.
Don't worry. We're not here for conflict. But I just think that, like, because I know certain people who have just, like, gone, they were with boys. Like, they did like boys. And now let's say, this is a boy a girl who did like boys, who did do things with boys, whatever. And now they like girls.
But that's something also, when you're a child... when we were children, who did you see in movies? Boy, girl, couple. All the Disney movies. Prince, princess, prince, princess, prince, princess. You never saw princess, princess. You never saw prince, prince.
No.
So that's what we were conditioned to as children. You're conditioned to believe that it's correct. And a lot of people are not able to have diverse people around them that are queer or that are different, sexuality-wise or anything. So they don't know any different.
I agree with that, right? That is the stereotypes that we've been raised to.
In,
so, yeah. This was getting so good. I'm so annoyed we had to stop.
Yes.
It was literally in it. It was like hitting the climax. So annoying. But it's all right, guys. If anything, you guys hit that like button. We'll get a part 2, okay? That's what you should do. Hit that like button, subscribe, get a part 2. Thank you so much, Fabian. We ate that up.
Yes.
It was so good. It was so nice having you.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm so happy this went so well. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that post notification. No bad blood. We're all good, guys. Learn to be open-minded. Period. And yeah, love you all and see you guys in my next episode. Bye.